Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Dave Pascal from the Pascal Health Institute here in Cary, North Carolina. I hope you are all having a fantastic day. It is beautiful fall weather here. We have a lovely mix of Carolina blue skies and rain, and every once in a while, a stunning sunset like last night. The sky was on fire. It's fantastic. Today, I am going to be talking to you about brain fog and CRPS. Many of the people that I see that are suffering with complex regional pain syndrome have a myriad of symptoms, and one of the most common is brain fog. So, what is brain fog? It's actually a collection of a whole bunch of different symptoms. Everyone's an individual. You may have one of these, you may have all of these, you may have any combination, but the most common denominators in brain fog are difficulty focusing, difficulty concentrating on things, confusion, mental fatigue. You start to watch something or read something, and in very short order, you lose your focus. Forgetfulness, mental forgetfulness, where'd I leave my keys or my computer or my cell phone? And losing your train of thought. You're on a task or you're talking to someone about one thing, and then all of a sudden it's just totally gone. Mental exhaustion, where you just can't take it anymore, any more data, whether it's learning something or just your own entertainment, reading something, watching something, or talking to someone. You have reached your limit. You can't take any more. Not being able to find the correct words in a given situation, so having slow processing of information is another very common symptom of brain fog, and trouble paying attention. This is often labeled, attention deficit, right? So those are the most common symptoms of brain fog. And why do we have brain fog with CRPS? Where is this coming from? Well, it's coming from a few different things. One is another common malady that people with CRPS have are digestive issues, right? You're sensitive to a lot of foods. A lot of foods are very upsetting to the stomach. And in reality, what happens is the body becomes allergic or sensitive to various different things. Well, this ends up creating problems in your small intestine, where your food, the majority of your food, is absorbed into your bloodstream. The small intestine is also 70% of our immune system. You may have heard me talk about this before. And also our neurotransmitters, the chemicals that are transmitting our nerve signals, are made primarily in the small intestine. They're made in the small intestine, they're absorbed into our bloodstream, they go up into our brain, they go through the blood-brain barrier as the subproducts of those neurotransmitters, and they're assembled in the brain. And now we have the chemicals serotonin, dopamine, acetylcholine, GABA to carry our neurotransmitters around the brain. Well, when we have food sensitivities, food allergies, problems with our entire digestive tract, then we are not going to make all of the neurotransmitters that we need to have. When we don't have sufficient levels of neurotransmitters, how can we transmit our nerves? It's just like you can have a brand new car, but there's no gasoline in it. Well, it's not going to do you any good, right? It's the car doesn't have a the car has a problem, but it doesn't have a problem. It's not like, oh, this car is defective, right? This car has some mental disease. No, the car doesn't have gasoline. It needs gasoline to go down the road. You know, a lot of my CRPS patients, they talk to their general practitioner or they talk to some specialist, and quite often they are shunted off into the mental health world because they can't pay attention, or they lose their thought process, or they um, can't find the right word in a conversation, or they have confusion about something, and they go, oh well, obviously you have some psychological or psychiatric disorder. They don't even bother to go, oh well, why don't we make sure that you have all the neurotransmitters, right? Imagine if we threw every car that ran out of gas into the uh, one of those big auto compactors that just crush a car. Well, that car's not working, it's abandoned at the side of the road, so let's just throw it away without bothering to do a proper evaluation. That is what we do with people. We just metaphorically throw them away. We're going to put you in a prison, and that prison is going to be a biochemical one. We're going to put you on a bunch of antidepressants. We're going to put you in a dark room. We're not going to listen to you. We're not going to relate to you. We're not going to bother to figure out what's really going on. And that is really not only a travesty, but really criminal in my opinion. So if you have CRPS and you have brain fog, and you're not at the point where you're ready to come see me, we do have things that we can do to help you while you're at home. We have our live here. We have our Facebook group. We have different supplements, like we have a general supplement program that we put a lot of people on that haven't come to see us. We have a more specific, individualized supplement program. We have some modalities that have, been able to help some people with CRPS, even those that haven't been able to get into our office. So if you have CRPS and you have brain fog, here are some things that you can do about it. One is make sure you're getting enough sleep. The body heals when you're in a parasympathetic state. You really can only be in a parasympathetic state when you're sleeping, right? Of course, if you're an amazing meditator and you can do that in a very quiet surrounding and put yourself into a parasympathetic state, that's fantastic. That's a skill set, a lot of us don't have. The second thing is sensory overload. So many people have the TV on in the background or the radio, and there's just always noise, 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 noise. Well, it may not be blasting, but it's still this constant input, poke, 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 auditorily, and it builds up. It's data coming into the body that the body has to process. So turning off the noise, giving yourself a quiet environment. Um, Other sensory things are smells. So many people, you walk into their house and every single room has a Glade plug-in in it or a scented candle. I mean, there's again a constant assault on the nose, a constant assault on the immune system, and so get rid of all of those things. If you have an air cleaner in your environment wherever you are, make sure that it's quiet. You don't need something that sounds like a wind turbine all the time, right? That is way too much sensory input. Um, so we talked about sound, we talked about smell, motion. If you live on a busy street and your window's open and there's always cars going by and honking and noise and just that visual thing, then pull your blinds down. Think about the sensory input that's coming in to your body. Another thing that you can do if you have brain fog is unitask, right? All of us we have this whole list of things we want to accomplish, and to the best of our ability. I know that if you have CRPS, then what you can do is limited in various ways, but still in all, you still have things that you want to do. And when you're feeling good, you go, okay, now, I'm having a good day. So this is my time to do these things, this whole list of things that I want to get done. That is not a successful long-term plan. Again, it's too much. Everyone, we should all, whether you have CRPS or not, unitask. We should only be doing one thing at a time. And there have been so many studies on productivity. And what they found is if you look at one group of people and they're doing, they're multitasking, they're doing 2, 3, 4, 10 things at once, and versus a group that are only doing one thing at a time. The group that is unitasking will outperform the multitasking group across the board, whether it's something you're studying in comprehension or it's a task being completed. And the key to unitasking is, a cycle of action, a beginning, right? You say, okay, I'm going to start this, and then you do whatever that action steps are. I'm going to hang up my clothes, or I'm going to read this book, or I'm going to write this letter, or whatever the action step is, and then end it, right? Okay, I completed that task. A beginning, a middle, and an end. A beginning, an action, and an end. That is a complete cycle of action. And studies on time management show that the more completed cycles of action that a person does, they actually create more time. So try it out for yourself. Unitask instead of multitask. You'll have less overload to the body and you'll get more done. The next thing that you can do if you have CRPS is try to get some exercise to whatever your limits are. Even whether you're in a wheelchair and you can't move, then maybe you can do some neck things or arm things. If you're still able to get out and walk, or something more vigorous than that, maybe on a bicycle, then try to get regular exercise. From an ideal viewpoint, physiologically, we know that exercising a minimum of 3 times a week with an elevated heart rate for 25 minutes is enough to make physiologic cardiovascular change. Another big factor for brain fog is lowering your stress. Stress is a big deal. Now, we do have 3 types of stress, right? We have emotional stress, which is the first thing we all think of when we think of stress. We have chemical stress, like those Glade air fresheners and pesticides in our foods. And then we have physical stress. So you can have any combination of those 3 things: emotional, chemical, and physical. It can all be all of one thing. It can be a third of each, but the brain cannot tell the difference between an emotional stressor and a physical stressor or a chemical stressor. So try to identify those and lower your stress levels. And then the last one I'd like to talk about today is your food intake, your diet. So many people with CRPS that I see, their diets are terrible. Artificial flavoring in their foods, processed foods, a lot of fast foods, a lot of foods that are coming in bags or boxes. And those tend to be very high in chemicals. Those put a big stress on our bodies in many, many different ways. So to the extent that you can move toward fresh, organic, preferably raw foods, fruits and vegetables, those foods have vitality. Those foods have energy, which will, when you eat them and absorb them, will help give you more energy and more ability to heal and to think clearer. So I hope this has been helpful for you. If we have any questions live, I'll be glad to take them. Do you have anything, Danielle? Okay. So we don't have any questions right now. That's fine. If you're watching this, if you'd like to post a question, or you can always text or email our office. Our email is Dr. Pascal Helps, so DrPascal Helps with an S at gmail.com. I would also like to ask all of you, I guess we live in this social media rated world, and I would love it if you would go to Google and give me a positive review if you are familiar with my work. That will help let others know what you all think of me and the care that we're providing. Secondly, in our talk next week, we are going to talk about a couple of the modalities we have in our office that do help with brain fog. and that is our Live O2, which is our adaptive oxygen machine, and our NeuroSage. So come back next week, hear what I have to say about that. Please tell your friends, colleagues, support group, other people that you know with CRPS about our Facebook group here, Dr. Pascal CRPS Solutions. We'd love to have more people join. We're growing over 400 people, and we would like to have more people that are part of our community. So I wish you all well, and I will look forward to talking to you next week.